You want to be great, you gotta let go of the small version of yourself. The one with doubts. The one that's scared to take risks. He nodded toward the glass. This is just the start. A little trust. A little openness. I remained silent. I could feel my throat constricting. My skin burned. Drink it, he said calmly. It's just a drink. But it wasn't. We both recognized that. It was a signal. A choice. And something in that room, something invisible, was awaiting my decision. My hand hovered over the glass momentarily. I considered how simple it would be to just agree, to flow with it, to become part of the machine. Perhaps I'd become famous, wealthy, untouchable. But I remembered Terrence's face, the weight behind his eyes. And I remembered Simone standing in the main room watching me disappear down the hallway with that same look my mom gave me the first time I almost got arrested in high school, like she knew she might never get the same version of me back. My hand dropped. I'm good. The words felt heavier than they should have. Diddy's smile didn't fade, but it hardened. His eyes lost their warmth. You sure? He asked. This door don't open twice. Then I guess I'll keep the one I got. Silence. Thick, suffocating silence. Then he laughed, but it wasn't friendly. It wasn't funny. All right, he said, standing. Your call. He opened the door. Go back to your friends. But the atmosphere had transformed. I was no longer a guest. I was a disappointment. And in that moment, I understood exactly what Tom meant. Because when you reject the game, when you say no, they don't become angry. They become interested. Like they're curious how long you can survive without them. Like they begin observing you. I didn't return to my friends. Ye prevented me. The hallway didn't lead back the way we'd come. I turned around, and the door we'd entered through had vanished. Just a smooth wall of matte black material. I spun around, heart pounding, breathing, accelerating. He remained there, calm, collected, unbothered. I attempted the gentle approach, he said, stepping forward. But you're one of those analytical types. Think excessively, need to experience it to believe. Where's the exit? I demanded. He chuckled. You believe this house has exits? Then he pointed down another corridor. This one, narrower, darker, a long black passage that seemed to contract the further it extended. Come, you've come this far. I should have run, but I didn't. Perhaps I thought I could negotiate my way out. Perhaps I thought I could identify the illusion, still pretending this was merely an elaborate mind game, some twisted initiation ritual. But as I followed him, something changed. The lights overhead dimmed completely. The air thickened, became heavy like walking through liquid. The corridor pulsated with low vibrations like something alive existed within the walls, breathing. We stopped at a single steel door, bolted from outside. He looked at me, more serious than he'd been all night. You keep looking at me like I'm what you should fear. He placed his hand on the bolt, unlocked it. I'm just the caretaker. Caretaker of what? He opened the door. Inside was emptiness, just blackness. A darkness so profound it wasn't merely absence of light. It consumed light. The air turned frigid, not breeze cold, Arctic cold. I could feel it infiltrating under my skin, into my chest. I was about to speak when I heard it. Breathing, but not human breathing. Slow, deep, wet, like lungs that hadn't inhaled air in centuries. I couldn't see anything, but I sensed it. A presence, massive, ancient, wrong. Ye didn't move, didn't flinch. It resides with me, he said quietly. Grew with me. Initially I misunderstood what it was. Thought it was ambition. Thought it was creativity. But it's hunger, pure and elementary. It doesn't desire wealth, doesn't care about achievements. It wants submission, wants you to relinquish that final piece of yourself. The piece that whispers, I'm still mine. It requires that repeatedly to remain satisfied. I backed away. My mouth had gone completely dry. You feed it. He looked at me, smiled. Everyone does. Some just use different names. And if I refuse? He tilted his head. Then it waits, follows, never disappears. You'll hear it, feel it during solitary moments, when doubt emerges, when challenges overwhelm you. He nodded toward the dark room. You'll remember this place. You'll remember me. And eventually, you'll wish you had agreed. I turned to leave, but the hallway behind me had disappeared. Consumed by shadow. He moved closer, placed his hand on my shoulder, and his voice softened, almost kind. This is where childhood ends, where you surrender like the rest of us did. Just once, That's all required. So I asked him, when do you do it? He grinned that same cold, charismatic grin. Whenever it grows too hungry. Whenever I feel my influence diminishing. That's when I feed it. That's when I take someone's essence. I don't recall how I escaped. Not clearly. One moment I was staring into that room, into that living, breathing void. The next I was outside, standing barefoot in the center of an unfamiliar street. No phone, no jacket, just me beneath a sky that looked foreign. The mansion had vanished. Not like I'd walked away, like it never existed. Behind me was only a tall hedge. No driveway, no gate, no house. I stood there a while, trying to regulate my breathing, trying to slow my racing heart. But my body wouldn't respond. Something inside me continued screaming. I wandered until reaching a main road, found a convenience store, borrowed someone's phone, called Alex. She answered immediately. Where have you been? I couldn't even formulate a response. They'd been searching for me. Kai was hysterical. Alex had nearly contacted police. They'd waited outside the property for hours. Then suddenly the gates closed. The lights extinguished. Nobody answered. They assumed I'd left with someone. I wish I had. When I returned to the apartment, conversation was minimal. I didn't explain what happened. I couldn't. How do you describe something like that? How do you tell people there's a monster in the hills, a real one, and it's not hiding under beds, it's behind a brand, a reputation, a face you've seen countless times on screens? For our remaining days, I was withdrawn, barely ate, barely slept. Whenever I closed my eyes, I could still hear that breathing, still feel the air turning dense and wrong, still see how Ye looked at me in that hallway. Not like a person, like a predator who knew I remained within reach. We flew home. Kai dismissed everything as a strange night that escalated unpredictably. Alex wasn't convinced. She kept observing me like she knew something had followed me back. And something did. The atmosphere around me feels altered now. Sometimes I detect movement in reflections that vanishes when I turn. I wake consistently at 3:33 a.m., feeling it. Like someone sitting in my room's corner, just watching, not moving, not breathing, just waiting. And sometimes during quiet moments, during transitional moments, I hear it. That voice. Not Ye's, not mine, the other one, the one from the room, the one I never saw, but will never forget. It whispers, you can still return. Just say yes. Now I understand what Tom meant. He didn't survive that party, not truly. He simply found a method to carry what pursued him and continue functioning. So if you ever receive that invitation, that DM, that whisper, that handshake, if someone tells you the authentic gathering begins after midnight behind gates nobody else sees, ask yourself one question. Do you still possess your essence? And more importantly, are you prepared to fight eternally to keep it?